Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm really excited to be having a chat with Tracy Mitchell. She is the Managing Director of True Origin Fine Fair Foods. She's based in Scotland. A warm welcome to you on the show, Tracy. We're delighted to be speaking to you. And maybe just to quickly point out, True Origin have recently changed their brand. They were formerly known as Just Trade in Scotland. So check out their new website. Tracy is going to fill us in with all the details in this discussion today. So Tracy, it's great to have you with us today. Do you want to just introduce yourself and let us know what you do at True Origin?
Yes, thank you so much, Claire. Really good to talk to you. As you've already said, I'm the Managing Director at True Origin. I've been with the organisation right since it started, not in a management role particularly early on. I actually just did a sort of a small amount of marketing. I don't have a marketing background, but that was what I was recruited to work on to start with, and sort of project management stuff originally, just getting the organisation set up when it was Just Trading Scotland back in 2009. We're based in Paisley in the west of Scotland, and I have a team here of 5 other people. So there's 5.3 full-time equivalents in total, but five staff, some of whom have been with us a long time. The longest serving member of staff has actually been with us for nearly 14 of our 15 years. So that's a brilliant, and he's got so much experience. And then we've got some that have just been with us less than a year. So really, really good organisation, inspiring team to work with. And as you say, I'm the managing director. I work part-time. I manage the team, although they are so good that they hardly need managing at times. And I guess I do a lot of the work that's all about sort of board structure and strategic thinking and so on as to where we want to take the organisation. Yeah, so that's me.
Awesome. Oh, thanks for sharing, Tracy. And just to point out to our audience here today, ladies and gentlemen, True Origin are one of our incredible member companies here at Africa Scotland Business Network. So feel free to check them out on our own website and in the digital portal as well, to all our member companies who have access to that. Tracy, quite a big part of your business is being fair trade. You know, you've pointed that out to us since the very beginning, since you joined ASBN a year ago. Do you want to talk more about that and why it's so important to you?
Yeah, I mean, and fair trade is how we got started. Absolutely, we were originally set up partly through some grant funding to look at importing some new fair trade products from Malawi, and that was right back at the core of what JTS, Just Trading Scotland, was about. I think from our perspective now, we are absolutely a fair trade organisation. We are a guaranteed member of the World Fair Trade Organization, which means we adhere to the 10 principles of fair trade, and that is part of our DNA. Essentially, it's part of who we are. It means that we work directly with a network of smallholder farmers and producers in the global south, and our core there is about sourcing the finest ethical foods fairly. We also adhere to those 10 fair trade principles, both in that how we deal with those producers overseas, but also in our UK operations. So we focus on making sure we're creating employment opportunities in Paisley, that we're striving to limit our environmental impact, those sorts of things, as well as how we deal with our fair trade producer partners in the global south. The purchase of our foods helps those producer partners and their communities to receive a sustainable income, a fair, reliable income that we can commit to over the long term. We have partnerships with our producer partners that go back years, and we would always be looking for a new partnership to be something that we would hope that it would last years. And those sustainable incomes enable them enable the partners and their communities to buy equipment, to invest in education, to think about infrastructure and taking care of their environment, which obviously is crucial for all of us.
It sounds like every company should be a fair trade company, Tracy. And
I mean,
must
yeah, absolutely. It would be fantastic if every company was a fair trade company. It is hard, I would say, to adhere to all those principles and run a successful business. Yeah.
Yeah, I must say, like, I've always been aware of fair trade products, but since the engagement with your own team, I must say it's really, really heightened our own awareness when looking for that fair trade label when we're consuming in our personal capacities, and I guess like even in our business capacities. Now, I know that you are now, and I'm going to be careful what I say here, you're one of the biggest multi-product fair trade food companies in the UK, now sourcing from a range of countries. I mean, that's an exceptional achievement, Tracy. Can you maybe give the listeners or viewers a little taste of your secret sauce and how you've actually managed to achieve that within only 15 years?
I mean, it partly goes back to that original grant funding that we were part of, where we were looking at a range of products, and John Riches, who was the founder of JTS, was already working with a producer group in Eswatini. So we immediately had a range of products and a range of countries. And I think that influenced our early thinking as to how we wanted to, what our company was about, what we were keen to do. And it was about strong relationships with producer groups and a focus on producer groups that might otherwise be considered too vulnerable to be involved in international trade. Not at the exclusion of every other type of producer group, but we weren't looking to get into tea and coffee and chocolate ourselves, because those are markets where there are really strong existing businesses in the UK and where there's a level of expertise required for bringing those products in that we didn't have. Now, that actually isn't to say that we had the expertise in rice, but we could develop an expertise in bringing in rice and the other products. So I think that strong producer relationships, understanding that vulnerable producer groups that aren't yet certified, etc., that doesn't mean that they're not good producer groups. It just means they haven't gone through that process yet. So giving producer groups a market opportunity was significant to us. I think we actually started sourcing from a new country quite a long time ago as part of our strategy to spread the risk. Early on, we were sourcing from Malawi and what was then Swaziland, now Eswatini. And we recognised that we were sourcing from 2 landlocked countries in Africa, and that actually that in itself was a risk. And we really had one year where it was extremely hard to get product out of those countries. And that made us think about, actually, let's look at some more countries as well, because then we're spreading that risk. And the same with producer groups. Our sourcing strategy is to have a spread of producer partners so that we can have some that are maybe already stronger and comparatively reliable and easy to work with, whilst we maybe work with other groups that need a bit more input and a bit more grant support possibly, or whatever as well. I think the other thing I'd written down, sort of thinking about this, was actually we're stubborn. One of the reasons that we're successful, and we're as successful as we are, I guess previous managers might have described it as tenacity or being tenacious rather than stubborn, but you know, that we're really keen to make this work. So we're committed, we're prepared to stick with things even when they're hard, And, you know, when we had our WFTO audit, there was a level of recognition in that we do stick with our producer partners even in challenging times and try and find a way to make things work. I think just very practically, the other thing that we recognised is that we needed a really good basket of goods for consumers. So where we have our own producer partners, so the rice farmers in Malawi or the jam and sauce suppliers from Eswatini and South Africa and so on, we also now have a range of what we call friends. So we do now sell tea and coffee and chocolate, but we source them from other UK fair trade businesses. And what that gives is an individual consumer or a shop coming to our website, it gives them a much wider choice of fair trade products, which we've seen as being a significant thing, particularly this year with a number of challenges in the fair trade market in the UK. Having that basket of goods has been really significant.
Well, there's absolutely no doubt that you are also a purpose-led business. We can feel the passion. It completely oozes from everyone that we have the pleasure of working with at True Origin, Tracy. Now, the next question, you know, we've quite a few people have heard the slogan, trade, not aid. There is a bit of a misconception that for good companies shouldn't be too commercial. Can you give us your view on this and why and I'm guessing sustainability on both sides of the coin, both in your supplier countries and companies, and indeed yourselves and Paisley as a business, sustainability might be a huge factor in that?
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of the things since I became the MD of JTS actually a week before we went into lockdown back in 2020, and I've been working with our board and particularly the chair of our board since then, really quite seriously focused on sustainability and thinking what matters is that we're here to work with our producer partners in the long term. So we're focused on trying to make the right commercial decisions to make sure we are here for that focus on being able to support our producer partners with trade. And through our, we have a parent charity, so we're owned by True Origin Partnerships, and True Origin Partnerships, their role is to support the producer groups and to support us as we work with the producer groups, but particularly they do currently quite small scale interventions with the producer groups, where a producer group has maybe said, I really need in this summer battery power packs in South Africa because of the level of load shedding in South Africa. That really helped one of our producer groups keep going with production on sewing the bags for our beer bread. So they were able to respond. Yeah, working with True Origin Partnerships, we want to be here for the benefit of our producer partners for the long term. And we need to balance, I think, the trade that we do with the modest level of aid that True Origin Partnerships can do. And they are not doing big grant funded development projects. It's small scale, but really impactful interventions that they can help with, because long-term being here and continuing to trade is the thing that will help the communities where the producer partners work. I think in terms of should we make a profit, we need to be here for the long term. In order to fund our own growth, we need that money to come from somewhere. Now, through a lot of our JTS's existence, that money has come from asking people for donations as well as doing trade. And I think the strategy that we now have is that shouldn't be what we're relying on. We should be trading to profitability and then investing those profits. We actually covenant our profits to the charity to invest in the producer groups, but that can be investing back in us for the benefit of the producer groups. We want to be able to invest in that capacity building work through True Origin partnerships. But I think the first thing is we want to be able to continue to fund our own existence. I mean, it's not even to fund our growth initially. We have done, in this year, we did do a crowdfunder to fund new products. And I think we will continue to do a level of donation or grant funding sort of support where we're doing something new. I think if we can get external support for that, that's brilliant. If people feel inclined to donate, or if we can find grant funding to support us, then we will pursue that. But we want to be sustainable as a business, that our operating costs are covered through our gross profit, essentially.
Well, certainly from ASBN's perspective, Tracy, and what we know about your organisation, we think you are terribly dynamic and sophisticated. Your model is so sophisticated, and if you can use your commercial acumen to ensure jobs and sustainability, then I guess why not? And you know, talking about your model and trade and how dynamic you are as an organisation, you sell to both B2B markets and directly to consumers now. So people like myself and customers can now buy directly from True Origin, which is awesome. Do you want to maybe talk a little bit more about how you actually do that?
Yeah, okay, so maybe the best place to start is with the producer groups and think a little bit about those products. So we would hear what their new products are, but it often we're continuing lines that we've run for a while. So we import from the producer partners, and we import to our warehouse in Paisley, and the team here then stock those products into the racking and so on in the warehouse. And we sell through quite a range of channels, and I think that's reason that we're not unique, obviously, in that, but we don't have a very clear, right, we only sell to end consumers. We do, as you say, have a multi-channel approach. And that's particularly for our Christmas range. So we have a lot of gift packs of products. We take pre-orders from some of our bigger customers. So customers that listeners in the UK will have heard of, people like Oxfam, people like Lakeland, and some others, sort of more wholesale customers. We would take pre-orders and supply those in quite large bulk for their festive ranges. A lot of our sales are just based on past sales, essentially. So we estimate how much we're going to need based on what we've sold in the past and anticipated growth. And that then gives us a feel for how much to bring in. And then we put the products live on our online shop. So we essentially have two online shops. One is a consumer shop, so it's available to anybody to come in and buy whatever they like without an account. And that shop on Shopify, which is working really well for us since we invested in that 15 months or so ago, that integrates with our sales order processing system and works well. People get a discount if they order a certain value of products, and they get a discount for ordering by the case. But if they want just a bag of rice, they can have just a bag of rice. It doesn't really work well for them because they have to pay postage on that, but you can do it. But we also have an online shop that is for our wholesale customers, so for shops and so on. And essentially the same products exist there, but at a wholesale price, and with different sort of structures around discounts and so on. Some larger customers send us purchase orders and don't use either of those systems, but in general we supply, and then we pick and pack and dispatch from our warehouse with our team of 5.3 here in Paisley. And yeah, and I think we have really good Trustpilot scores for particularly for, well, I think it's particularly for the online shop, but our customers do give us good feedback about our responsiveness, our flexibility. The fact that we're small actually means that we know quite a lot of our customers, and we can take quite a personal approach to things, and we do get very positive feedback on that. And yeah, the team are great with in that sort of way. I don't know, does that answer the question?
Oh, that answers it perfectly, Tracy. Thank you. Yeah, I can totally relate. You know, we're not 5.3 members of staff here at Africa Scotland Business Network. We're 5, and I completely resonate with the fact that, you know, being a small team, we're a lot more agile. We have to take those personable, the personable approach to our relationships, because they're so dear to us. It's what keeps our entire business alive. So I totally agree with you on that one. Tracy, just to round this off, you know, obviously we want to help you promote True Origin and the products as much as possible to our other member companies, but also to people who are hopefully listening with outside ASBN as well. You know, that's what we're all about, to try and promote our members as far and wide as possible, especially our fair trade and our member companies that are doing such exceptional work at grassroots level. It's so important. So can you just give a quick glimpse of where people can find you online from social media and your website, Tracy?
Yeah, so the main website is trueorigin.org.uk, and on there you'll find a little bit about True Origin Foods, a little bit about True Origin Partnerships, an outline of the board and the staff and those sorts of things. But you'll also find a big button that says Shop Now. And for individuals that want to place an order for either for themselves or to get shipped as a gift to somebody else, or even because they want to run an event and have stock at an event or similar, that's the button that they need. That Shop Now button takes them directly to our online shop, and from there they can place orders. I'm going to fail on the exactly what our social media is, but if you look up True Origin Foods, you get us on all the channels, and maybe Clint can add in the link on the video.
We'll do that for you, Tracy. We will. I'm just actually going on to Instagram right now, because I know that you have changed
yes
the Instagram handle. So maybe I can help you out here while we're live. True Origin.
True.origin.food.
There we go. Yeah, I've got it. True.origin.food. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna, from my other account, I've got like 5 Instagram accounts. Okay, I've just given you another follow there. Tracy, thanks so much. And to everyone who is listening to this discussion today with True Origin Fair Trade Foods, if you heard Tracy there, let me emphasize, shop now. It's coming up for Christmas, so please consider an ethical gift. You know, it's going to mean so much to not just the person that's receiving the gift, but to so many people at grassroots level who would probably absolutely love to hear that their foods are being consumed in other international markets. So go onto the website, buy as many gifts and food for yourself as possible. You know, I can say that I'm got a bit of a brass neck, but Tracy, thanks so much for taking the time out to speak to us today. This will be sitting on our YouTube channel. We will make sure the links are up on the screen for True Origin. And thanks very much for your time again, Tracy. It's great to have you.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And you're absolutely right. Our producer partners, when they see our products, their products on shelves in the UK, the pride that gives them, it's just amazing. And to know that when you're buying one of our products, it is making a difference to somebody's life. We used to have a slogan about changing lives one jar at a time, and I think that it's still valid. It's not a slogan we use as such anymore, but it is so true. Our products do have true impact at Origin, and we'd really encourage you to look them up. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tracy.